Look on the globe on some of the changes that we've seen in cabinet, and somebody wrote something quite interesting on Twitter and said, no matter how much you shuffle a pack of cards, they're still the same cards. I wonder if that's how this overall reshuffle actually looks like. Now we continue getting reaction to the cabinet changes, and we're now joined by Director and Chief Economist at Econometrix Dr Azar Jammine. Azar, always good to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. So as an economist, as somebody who watches the finances, what are your thoughts on Enoch Godongwana coming in and Tito Mboweni retiring to his kitchen?
Firstly, please excuse the nose plugs. Secondly, Tito Mboweni did not seem to have his heart in the position of Minister of Finance. Enoch Godongwana has a long pedigree, and that is actually of a benefit. But the initial reaction of the markets was quite negative. If you look at the rand, it surged from around 1436 to almost 1460 to the dollar. It's come back down to below 1450, which suggests that there has been an element of loss of confidence by international investors who had quite a bit of confidence and loyalty towards Tito Mboweni. And so I think this reflects a disappointment. But you've got to bear in mind that the National Treasury is a very large department and has a lot of strong components. The membership is fairly experienced and capable, and the Minister of Finance himself is really just the pinnacle at the top. And you've got a strong Deputy Minister of Finance as well, that more than that, Director General of Finance, and I think those positions are as important as the Minister himself. So Godongwana, with his pedigree, I suppose will provide a little bit of stability, but it's certainly, I don't know that people will get too excited by it. He's head of the Economic Transformation Committee of the ANC, and he has a lot of experience in ANC politics. I suppose that's an advantage, but it's also seen by many as a disadvantage, because he will be far more aligned to the ANC ideology and possibly not be quite amenable to going hell for leather for some of the structural reforms that are required to reverse the downward trend of the South African economy.
Well, I suppose, you know, the way the ANC runs things, they guide government in terms of policy, and so can one expect more a continuation rather than a change in policy and the way of looking at the economy?
I think that is the fear that many will have. Having had some indirect communication with Mr. Godongwana, I think he is somewhat more open to some of the ideas of reform than many people will probably ascribe to him, and therein lies some hope. But as I say, more importantly is the fact that he is the team that works under him. That was decimated under the ministry of Malusi Gigaba, but has been rebuilt to some extent in recent years, and so one is rebuilding some confidence.
All right, so what about the new Minister of Small Business? Because that's actually where a lot of employment, one hopes, will be created.
I think the Ministry of Small Business has been a huge disappointment over the last 5 years since it was introduced. At the beginning, one thought it was a great idea, and yet if you look at what has been achieved in terms of the development of small business, it has been a complete failure and a waste of money. And one would far rather have seen it combined with trade and industry in a more constructive manner. Instead, what has happened in South Africa is small business continues to play second fiddle to big business, organized labor, and government, and doesn't get a look in. And the kind of monies that have been put forward to assist small business are really a pittance and do not go anywhere towards providing the resilience to the economy and the potential for job creation that a thriving small business sector should really be able to do. As a well-known scenario planner, Clem Sumter suggests, the president should be appointing an entrepreneurial council to monitor the success and that South Africans are having in terms of developing their entrepreneurship, because that is the way we're going to create more employment in this country. And if we carry on with the ministry the way it's been run in the past, maybe this minister will be more successful, but really the experience has been abysmal.
All right. So, Dr. Azar Jammine, thank you very much indeed for joining us and sharing your thoughts with us on this reshuffle. And get well.